You know, I'm getting older, birthday's in May, and I was having one of those reflective nights. About life, what I've accomplished, what I haven't, the good times, the bad. I was just feeling sort of nostalgic. Been going through some boxes and seeing old stuff, and it just made me think, hey, what if I turn this into a video? I think we all have games that bring us back to sitting directly in front of our CRT TVs. I've mentioned it before, but educational games were my gateway into becoming a gamer. But for this video, I wanted to hone in on JRPGs, which would prove to be more difficult as I actually wasn't raised on JRPGs as much as I thought. I was definitely a platformer, party game, or educational game girl. But it's okay, I managed to find 10 JRPGs that I'm nostalgic for, that represent my childhood or young adulthood. So before we take a trip down memory lane, be sure to like and subscribe as I'm on a journey to get 60k subscribers before the year ends. I appreciate your support. Number 9. One of my favorite games of all time, and shamefully I haven't gotten to the remake yet. Tales of Graces F. This was my very first Tales of game, so maybe the first bias is real, but I love it so much. It's a game about war, extraterrestrial shit, and heavy emphasis on friendship and found family. I just fell in love with it, and frankly, it's the game that got me into the series, and I'm really grateful for that. I truly had no expectations, and that really managed to work out in my favor. I didn't know what story to expect or what characters I was going to encounter, and this game has one of my favorite tropes, pitting best friends against one another. It just never gets old. It's very campy, but I don't think that's a mark against it. Also, I can't talk about Graces F and not mention the absolute fire combat. One of the best combat systems in an action game to this day. Fast-paced, combos galore, titles to build your characters. I just had an absolute ball. And Graces F has some of the best battle skits and frankly, main skits. This game has so much heart and I just adore it. If you haven't played it already, you absolutely should.
We're the toughest kids in town, but we shouldn't be out in places like this.
Number 8. Another one of my first JRPGs. I'd say it's the third JRPG I've ever played, and it's just stuck with me throughout the years. Even playing it again to review it, it holds up wonderfully, and that is Wild Arms. I feel like this game was even more magical because I had such a small frame of reference when it came to JRPGs at the time. It has a unique setting, the Wild West, with an obvious sci-fi twist. Wild Arms ultimately has a simple premise. The world is dying, turning into an inhabitable wasteland, and the metal demons are coming to take it and make it their home, since their old home was destroyed. This game has some of my favorite villains, the Quarter Knights, and while it does have a simple premise, it does have a touch of unexpected depth. Also, this is one of the few games where I beat the majority of secret bosses. I think I was missing like one. But I think that's a testament of just how I didn't want to part with this game because I wanted to discover all the secrets. Another point of nostalgia is that sweet 90s art. I think the opening visuals and music is iconic. And speaking of, the music, which was absolutely outstanding, perfectly captured the Wild West. When I hear the opening world theme, I'm transported back into one of my favorite games. The OST was done by Michiko Norugi, literally her best work. Number 7. Played this game as a kid, never finished it because my sibling scratched disc 4. Yet another game from my childhood that I'm really grateful I got to play as an adult, and actually beat it. The Legend of Draon. It's so sad that this game did not get the recognition it deserved because it is fantastic. At the time it seemed pretty average, but playing it relatively recently, I think it's great. I was quite taken back by both its story, characters, and the mystery of the moon that never sets. The gameplay I'm a little shaky with because of the time button presses, but the premise was really cool. Maximize damage, earn SP to be able to transform into a dragoon and lay waste to these fools. And the animations were really cool, as was the character design. It had really rich lore that I wouldn't mind being expanded upon if a remake was on the horizon. I'd love a prequel. I'm really grateful to have played it as a kid and have a proper go at it as an adult, as it's a very special game. Number 6. What a match made in heaven. Two of my favorite things coming together to create something beautiful. Gaming and Studio Ghibli. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. This game is memorable to me for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's the first game I ever played on my flat screen TV, which I bought with my own big girl money, and the rise in quality was just jaw-dropping. But 2, I love Studio Ghibli, my favorite being Howl's Moving Castle, but I grew up on Kiki's Delivery Service as my first, followed by Spirited Away. Something I love in my fantasy is undefined magic. It's not fire magic, water magic, and while yes, Ni no Kuni does have that, the world itself just feels magical. We kind of have this preconceived idea of a magical world. Take fairies, for example. We think they have wings, they're tiny and dainty little tricksters. Ni no Kuni says, nah, this is a fairy. This weirdly shaped thing with a lantern nose ring, and it has a Welsh accent. There are so many weirdly shaped characters, goofy scenarios, and boundless imagination. The third reason, which is less happy, is I played this game on Mother's Day, and all I'm gonna say is, not the game to play on Mother's Day. That said, when I think back to JRPGs that made a mark on my childhood or my young adulthood, I would be remiss not to include Ni no Kuni. Number 5. This was such a cool game. In fact, I can't think of any other game like it. Dark Cloud. And it pains me to think that if I tried to play it now, I don't think I'd like it. But as a kid, oh my god, Dark Cloud was my shit. Rebuilding towns, scouring randomly generated floors, only being able to play as one character at a time. The idea is an evil genie ruined the world, but as a last-ditch effort, some guys sealed the buildings into bubbles to protect them. You find these bubbled buildings and restore them to their full size, but you have to place them in a specific way according to the townsfolk. Like they might say, I was next to a farm, but far away from the pond, so you have to try to make everyone happy. It was a really unique concept that stuck with me. And I know I said I fear I won't like it if I try to play now, that's true, but I still kind of want to play it. I did try to play Dark Cloud 2 a few years back, and oh my god, I hated it with a passion. I lasted less than 5 hours, so I don't know. Let me know your thoughts if you want me to take a crack at Dark Cloud, the first one. Number 4, Eeyore. This was, and frankly, still might be, my favorite anime of all time. And when I heard it was getting a video game, oh, I was so excited. Dot Hack, the original quadrilogy. But hell, we could throw GU into there, I love both. Firstly, I was deep in the Dot Hack trenches. I used to know all the lore like the back of my hand. I had action figures, the anime, didn't get too deep in the card game, but the video games, I remember being in middle school and yapping about it to my friends. I was obsessed. This game is deadass the reason why I love the concept of duality. Being two people, playing pretend. In the real world, you're a lame-ass office worker, but by night, you can be Pussy Slayer the Third. The game focuses more on what's happening in the world, the digital world, the hottest new MMO, and you're playing a player playing a player. In the world, there is a phenomenon that says some folks have been put into a coma while playing, and you find out that there are these monsters outside the system that can data drain, essentially altering data. However, if used on humans, it puts them into a coma. Where it gets interesting is you gain the power to data drain at the cost of corrupting yourself. Data drain too much and you get a game over. What kicks this off is your best friend gets put into a coma, so now you're on a mission to restore not only your best friend, but other fallen players, and to unravel the mystery of the world. Ooh, number 3. People say I don't like sci-fi. I say I don't like sci-fi, but there is one game from my childhood that defied that. And now is sort of my personal standard for sci-fi. Phantasy Star 4 for the Sega Genesis. It's the only mainline Phantasy Star I've ever played. Although I'll have you know I did go hard in the MMO back in the day, and I have dabbled in the current MMO. And side tangent, I'm debating if I want to play Phantasy Star 3. I hear it's the worst one, but damn it, the concept sounds so cool. Playing across generations? Ugh, okay, enough getting sidetracked. This game is your cookie cutter, save the world, save the solar system, the world is dying, biomonsters are running amok, and you are hunters whose job is to keep the monsters in check. While doing your job, you make connections to a cult leader, Zio, who's shaping up to be the big bad. But make no mistake, this game has its twist. But more importantly than twists, this game was my first ever party member death. I clearly remember being so distraught about this one as a child. One, because I leveled them up, I was so proud they were going to be the strongest, and then they were taken from me. I couldn't believe it. It didn't occur to me that games could even do that. It felt illegal, immoral, unjust. This is also a game my mom helped me with because little me couldn't beat it. But when I played it for a review, I was glad to see I could beat it myself. Phantasy Star 4 was a fantastic game back in 1995, and it's a fantastic game now. Modest story, gorgeous comic style panels, awesome exploration, challenging combat, and the sickest chiptune music. Number 2. So I feel like I loved this game a lot then versus now. I mean, I'll always love this series, but it's been struggling lately, and that series is Kingdom Hearts. I remember being so goddamn hyped for this game, and the only reason I didn't get it day one is my parents said Christmas is just around the corner and if I waited, Santa might bring it to me. By the way, they told me this in September, you know, when the game came out. So even though I had saved money for this game, apparently I was frugal and a patient child because I waited nearly 4 months for this bitch. But anyways, it holds a special place in my heart because it's Disney meets Final Fantasy. And while I wasn't a big Final Fantasy fan at the time, 10 was the only one I played, and even hated it back in the day, I loved me some Disney. And it was something my mom watched me play and we talked about. It was nice to have an easy to follow story before it turns into the mess that it is now. Even though to this day, I would say Kingdom Hearts 1 is the hardest, I played both on normal and easy and I was still getting my shit rocked, and the platforming was awful. I just have really fond memories. One of them being beating Riku for the 3rd time. In fact, this was the game that really taught me if I was frustrated, put the controller down and sleep on it. This Riku fight gave me so much trouble one night. I was mad, went to bed, woke up, the first thing I did was turn my PS2 on to try again, and bam, first try. Ever since then, that's my go-to strat of mine and it's never let me down yet. Number 1. This is the genesis right here. This is what got me into anime, this is what furthered my love for gaming, what got me into art, what got me into Japanese culture. It all started with Pokemon. Red, blue, silver, gold, I had every single one. I was obsessed. I had the Pokedexes, the books that detailed every Pokemon, I collected the cards, but I can't say I got deep into the game. I just really liked the art. Mini story time. This was in elementary school. I was waiting for class to start and me and this boy were trading. And I traded my Charmander for his Bellsprout. And his boys were like, ha ha ha, you got the worst trade. And he said no trade backs, which if you're familiar with elementary playground rules, means the trade is solidified. My day was ruined. Honestly, might have been the start of my villain arc. Was a rule in your guys' school no trading Pokemon cards? Because that became a thing in ours for this reason. Contrary to this devastating moment, I have so many fond memories of Pokemon. Too many to detail, but one of them was I was the best Pokemon trainer in school in terms of the video game. At least that's what I told myself. My Pokemon were leagues above everyone else's, and my best male friend at the time was like, yo, how do you do it? And I distinctly remember sitting atop my mailbox, swinging my legs, looking at him dead in the eye like, love. You gotta love your Pokemon. And I'm pretty sure I got that from the TV show. You know, love your Pokemon, they're your friends. My friends are my power. I truly believed in the power of friendship and love, strengthening bonds, never mind increased stats, leveling up, numbers and shit. I was deep into that fluff. And maybe that's something beautiful, right? The innocence of children having this hopeful, starry-eyed outlook on life. Anyways, getting a little off topic here, but I just met so many people through Pokemon, and it shaped so much of my interests and how I even tackle things in games. AKA my patience for level grinding is unreal because of Pokemon. I've said before, I've outgrown Pokemon, and I haven't played any of the newer ones, and I barely keep up with it save for the new starters. But I'll always have a love and appreciation for the series that really had a large hand in who I am today. And while I haven't actually reviewed a whole Pokemon game, I did talk about Pokemon I like to eat. Crazy idea for a Thanksgiving video, I know. And I do have a fun video about my favorite trainer types. Also, let me know your thoughts about this video if you like the little personal touch, if you want more, if you want less. Anyways, definitely check out those videos and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah!